Now, back to Coastal Living on KZTV.
Hello there, welcome back to Coastal Living. We are celebrating Friday with a bunch of awesome guests, including one that you might be familiar with, but you haven't seen him in the house yet. Stefan Lewis, our beach and surf report specialist, is here in person.
All right.
I love it.
You got it down, man.
Yeah, he's marked all those. Okay, so tell us about yourself. We have you here in person. We don't just get the report, we get to meet you.
Well, I mean, I'm an avid surfer. We've definitely stood out there and said professional. I think when we think of that, we think that we put our lives, basically in danger. Mm-hmm. And so if you're surfing waves like that, you have to have that professional mentality.
Absolutely.
And so I don't make a living at it, but I definitely live and breathe it. Our whole family travels the world doing it. Mm-hmm. And we've got about 17 years of travel. And so we've seen a lot of different countries, a lot of different beaches, a lot of different cultures.
Yep.
So that's basically in a nutshell what's going on. But I go to work just like you and I, and then on the weekends or long vacation, we foreshadow a great,
You know, Stefan, I used to work on the West Coast in California, and I would get the reports, emergency bulletins. We are under a tsunami advisory.
Yep.
People are supposed to move to higher ground, away from the water. And who grabs their surfboard and heads to the water?
Head straight to the water.
These guys. Surfers. And I'm going, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
They put their lives out there.
Especially during hurricane season. I know that we all heed the warnings. A lot of us surfers start looking for cheap airfare, or we'll basically carpool to the place they say not to go. I know we have a lot of hurricanes come into the Gulf, and we're always looking forward to it. We're excited about hurricane season. Most people are like, "Oh my goodness!" But
that's when you catch the good
yeah,
waves.
I mean, so we want the hurricane to not devastate everyone, but we want the waves. So that's kind of like where we are.
And you're just like, I think of surfers, and I've only tried surfing once, and it just wasn't a good thing for me. I enjoyed it, I just couldn't get the hang of it. We'll have to try again.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I feel like surfing is just like someone who is passionate about acting or painting. It's just something that you are spiritually drawn to, and there's no way around it. So you have to get out there, you have to catch those waves.
Yes.
And I want to have that experience because I know it's like an out-of-body experience, like being one with Mother Nature. Tell me about that for people who are like, we live on the coast and I've never tried surfing, and maybe they never will.
Well, I would say that it's definitely small steps to a big achievement. Mm-hmm. And I think that with the right teacher, I mean, we have a great surf school, Texas Surf Camps. A buddy of mine, Morgan Faulkner, has a wonderful school to go to, and he teaches you step by step. And I think just having that ocean knowledge gives you that, almost like a basic, what would you say, more comfortable feeling. Yeah. So you're able to learn versus you're thinking of sharks or stingrays or I'm going to drown. And so they teach you the ocean knowledge, and then all of a sudden they're getting you to go on this wave, and you feel that energy. Mm-hmm. You feel the energy, and you're like, I want to do it again, and it just goes on and on, just like when you learn to ride a bike or something.
Yep.
And so I think you're always chasing that feeling, and then once you get bit by the bug, next thing you know it, someone's like, hey, we're going to California. You're like, oh my God, I want to rent a board. And then it goes on,
Yep.
Well, now, you mentioned California. Is the Texas Gulf Coast an unsung hero in the surfing world, or do people know about us? Do they come here? Are they out of towners? Because most of the people in Corpus Christi don't surf.
That's correct.
So do people come from all over the world to our beaches and we don't even know it?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
A lot of times, because like if hurricane season starts and we get a pretty crazy storm, there's some people that'll come out just to surf that storm. Mm-hmm. Now we have a wave park in Waco that's bringing out all the professional surfers around the world, the best.
Wave park in Waco.
That's correct. BSR is a man-made wave.
That does not compute.
I know. I was joking about surfing in Waco earlier. I didn't realize that was a thing. You can surf in Waco.
We didn't think that it would ever happen at that level, but it has. Kelly Slater, 11-time world champion, he's developed a phenomenal, I'd say a phenomenon, and it's an amazing wave that they created by a machine.
Wow.
And it drives down a track and almost has a plow in front of it, and it like drives the wave into like a barrel, and it gives you all these different characteristics that we chase, and we're always looking for these conditions that are Mother Nature, right? And so they're being able to manipulate that and produce that. And the same thing, it's a different technology,
How smart to take it from the coast all the way to the center of Texas. Where
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think you'd have it in
yeah.
Galveston or Corpus Christi,
Exactly.
you'd think.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, what can we expect this weekend for our surfers out there? What does our surf report look like?
Well, in the beginning of the week, we saw that it was going to be flat, and now all of a sudden with this storm on the East Coast, it's drawing a lot of pressure off of our coast, and so it looks like we, Monday through Wednesday, could see some waist to chest-high surf. And now when I say that, it can always fluctuate. When we do these reports, we use use an app that predicts 5 days ahead of time, so it's not like the Pacific Ocean. So anyways, we're looking at waist to chest high surf, and then throughout the rest of the week it looks like it's going to go flat, so you got to get those paddle boards out.
So wave to chest high, is that good? That's about a 2 to 4 foot breaker.
I would say 2 to 4 foot. I'm 5'6", so everything's head high on me. So I have to consider someone that's 6 foot tall.
Okay.
And I get a lot of flack when I predict higher than normal. But yes, it's basically based on knee high being the minimal rideable wave, up into the optimal like chest high to head high. You know, maybe a tube if you get the right wind conditions. And
we're going to talk about that, but some other time, because they need an offshore wind to grab a wave and to make the tube.
That's
for
correct.
Them. So it's
that's correct.
Exactly.
There's a science behind it.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature's knife.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Stefan, for coming into the studio. We're excited to finally have you here in person, and I think you and Mac need to get together. He can train you to be a weatherman. You can kill two birds with one stone.
Come out.
Right on.
All right, guys.